All right. Good evening, everybody. Glad to see you. The weather is changing here. Yes. So
Winter sooner,
yes,
the cooler.
yes, which is good. Good. Fall is coming, and in the health industry, we call this the second January because we don't know why. It's kind of a phenomenon. It's like people get through with summer. They know the holidays are coming and they're like,
Like a second New Year.
yeah, it's like a second new year. It's like, okay, I want to change my health. I want to get healthier. And so it's perfect timing because tonight we're starting with element one, like it's a fresh start. And it always surprises us when we go to study an element. So, what we do is in the mornings, we read through it, we glean what we feel is most relevant, most impactful, and we kind of just make notes. You can see we type up a little sheet, just giving us some information to remind us when we're talking to you. And and here we were just doing element one, right? Just the very start. And the two of us walked away going, wow, we don't even remember reading that before. It's like scripture, right? You read it, and it's like it's a new season of your life, and it means something different.
Yeah, so we highlighted something different than we taught it last time, and so we've been through all the chapters, which
Yeah,
is amazing. We didn't record the first eight, but now we're hitting this one. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is great, no matter where you are in your journey. So if tonight's your first night, if you've just been in it for a little while, or you've reached your goal, whatever, wherever you're at, this is good because we're talking about, don't forget, we're talking about health, not weight so much as health. I mean, weight's part of it, and your why for wanting to get healthy. And you think, well, I know my why, but it's a little more than that. So the question we're going to ask you is, do you really know your why? Which is basically your motivation to change, okay, for your health. Do you know it? And I had to be honest. I am not totally clear right now on my why. So this was actually a really good exercise for me because I've been through losing the weight, been through maintaining the weight. Now we're moving towards more ultra health and really incorporating um, things in our lifestyle that are going to keep us, God bless you, healthier than we were before. And you never really arrive, right? You just keep working towards that. It's like this is like your Christian walk, right? You're always just being sanctified and trying to be more Christ-like in what we do. So, uh-oh, we got the big sneeze. Must be fall. All right. So, if if you know your why today, has it changed from when you started? And it's all right to interact. No, it's the same,
it's
Karen.
just the same. Yeah.
And what do you mind sharing it?
Sure. Um, I've lost 90 pounds. And so with that, um, I was at that point to where I was contemplating in 10 years, if I fell, I could probably very easily break a hip or whatever. And I didn't want to not be able to move, and it was getting harder and harder to move. So before the doctors wanted to start giving me joint injections and working with me with my hip that I have bursitis in, I asked, could you give me some time? I want to lose some weight and see if it really makes a difference. So a year and a half has gone by, and the doctor's thrilled, and I don't have any hip pain unless I do
Wow.
something, some major yard work or something. But it's easier to move. I can bend and get up off the floor if I need to. So
Yeah.
really been a huge blessing. Thank you,
Yeah.
Lord, for helping me through this.
Yes, praise God.
Mhm.
That's so good. I think one of my favorite things is that I can touch my toes now. And I know that
Right.
seems so
Yeah.
funny, but I couldn't for years. I couldn't touch my toes. It was so hard to tie my shoes. I always had to
Mhm.
get slip-ons.
Mhm.
It was good living in Hawaii because I could wear the slippers, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Right. Yeah.
that
Exactly.
worked out.
So
Kind of
I
hard in
can,
Oregon.
Right.
I can tie my shoe, bend over and breathe all at the same time now.
That's a feat in itself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Does anybody else have a change in their why?
Well, I guess the long-term why, you're right, stays the same, but sometimes we have events that affect our whys. And for me, it's my reunion coming up next year that I would like to, gives me a bigger why. So it does give me a little bit more of a push. And I'm so thrilled that I was able to break one of my weight barriers that I wasn't able to break through before. I just barely broke it, but still, it's just huge when you can go down past a number that you haven't been able to. So I'm really happy with this program. Thank you.
That's
Yeah, we're celebrating that because it's important to recognize
Mhm.
those.
yeah.
Because let's face it, I mean, if it was easy, I mean, the program's simple, but that doesn't mean losing weight is easy,
Mhm.
right? And getting healthy. So you still have to go through changes. And in order, and this is something, of course, we put this down, but what it's really about, guys, is change. So as we have this why, okay, so I want to be healthy to see my grandkids grow up. I want to be healthy so I can travel the world, for years and years. My mom traveled to Europe by herself in her 90s. And I'm like, really? That just amazed me. But she was a little bit ahead of her time. I was slow on the uptake. So she just did a great job, and she used to tell me, you got to take care of yourself. And I'd be like, yeah, mom, right, right, yeah, mom. Well, now I am, she'd be proud of me now. But what it really takes is change because here the reality is um, nothing in your life will change if you don't change. Because if you just stay doing what you're doing, you're going to get the same results. Nothing will be different. So that why you have is really your motivation for continuing on. It is a really powerful statement or statements of what you want to do because that is coming from inside you. So that's super important. And what it takes to change. And so, Karen, you can relate to this. Betty and Lisa, too, as they're on their journey, guys, it takes courage. I mean, it takes courage because there are times you want to just throw your hands up and go, I don't want to do it anymore, right? So you have to have the courage to continue the process because what happens is you have your why, which is your motivation, right? It's your motivation for change, is what your why is. Your why is powerful. It tells you this is important to me. This is my motivation to be willing to make the change, which takes courage to make that change. And what we always say as health coaches is that some will do it, some won't do it. But what we know is everybody can do it. All right. So there's never, ever anybody that can't do it. It's just some of them won't do it, and it takes courage. And so sometimes, we can get a little discouraged as coaches because we see people we know they can reach wherever they want to go, but they just,
They face fear. They'll know what to do
Yep.
with fear. There's
fear, Yep.
There's obstacles that come up and that's why we coach. That's why we try to help because we all face those and it takes courage to face and walk through those.
Yeah. And you can't be afraid. I mean, it's like a toddler learning to walk, right? They fall down, but they get back up. And then we have to do the exact same thing. So in Optavia, what makes a difference is this, is the transformation system. I mean, having a coach is really helpful. Oh, sorry, Lisa. Having a coach is really helpful. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted.
I'm sorry.
Ah, that's okay. I just didn't know.
Sorry, I meant for you to see it after the meeting.
You're so funny. So having a coach is great. Community is important. Being on our community page is important, but unless you really pour yourself into the transformational system, which is this, and understanding it, this is what's really helped us, is because let's face it, so much of it is a mind thing. So you really have to understand, it's almost like you have to get rid of stinking thinking, right? Stinking thinking says you can't do it. Stinking thinking says I will never be able to get to that correct BMI. Stinking thinking says I couldn't, even if I do, I can't keep the weight off. That's not true. It's it's really a lie of, I want to say it's a lie of the devil since we're all believers, but it is. It's the lie of the devil because that is not what God created us for. God created us for good health.
And it's also self-deception. We deceive ourselves. It's also self-deception.
Yeah. So the fact that you made a commitment to be on this and be part of the transformation system is huge because this is how you actually change, is by learning these things and implementing them in your life. So does anybody know the 6 macro habits? Because the macro habits are fundamental to making changes in your life.
It's the big ones.
The 6 big ones.
The water.
Yep. Hydration.
Yeah.
Another one,
Motion.
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 Number
Good
2.
one. Good one. I should have known, Karen. You'd get that one. That's good. You're an inspiration. Sleep.
Yeah. That's 3.
How about nutrition?
Nutrition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nutrition.
4.
Number 4. Okay, the next one important in this world of ours,
Psychological. Stress.
Mindset.
right? Stress
Yeah.
reduction.
Stress reduction.
And then the last one might be a little hard. I even had a hard time remembering this one, surroundings.
Oh.
So not only what you have in your house, but even people that you hang out with. That can be a huge, I'm telling you, when we're with a group of health coaches, it is so easy to stay on program. I'm just saying, it doesn't even enter your mind, right? You don't care.
But if we go see Aunt Maggie,
But if you go see Aunt Maggie and she pulls out the homemade apple pie and the ice cream and the whatever, and it's not that you don't want to see Aunt Maggie, but that is a little harder situation. So anyway, surroundings is a good thing. So those macro habits are kind of the fundamentals to achieving your why. And that's part of what, going forward, we're going to be talking about. So, okay, you get your why, and then you have this little thing in your head that says, no, you can't. No, you can't. You're not going to be able to do it. This voice in your head. That's all connected to distrust and caution. And what the antidote is for that, guys, is you believing you can. So when you're in this and in the beginning or even during your health journey, when you start to get those doubts, that is when you lean into your health coach and you borrow their belief in you. because this is what we know. We know you can. We know you can do it. All right. So our body and our mind, what they do is they fight change. And just like we said earlier, unless you change, nothing will change. And what your natural inclination is we like comfort, right? We like comfort. So we fight that in our mind and in our body. And we need to just be aware of that. So when we notice that, we understand that that's just, it doesn't have to be that way, right?
Right.
All right. So we're going to ask you a couple of questions, but I don't want you to overthink it. Okay, guys, don't overthink it. Just answer it. All right. Do you really care about getting healthy?
Yes, but.
Okay, what's the
Yes,
but?
but I enjoy all the other stuff too. So it's always a balance and choose. It's a have to think and choose situation.
Yep.
But
Yep.
yes,
Okay. All right. So here's the next question. Do you want to improve your life? Okay. So those you really do, like Lisa, I'm glad you're really being honest about that, because that's real, right? That's real. You have this thing that tugs on you, right? And so you need to know that you've got to be able to mentally figure that out. In other words, um you can't just say, okay, I feel that way and I'm going to go and I'm going to get healthy, because you're always going to have this thing like fighting in your brain, right? Don't you struggle with that? Yeah. That's not uncommon. So that's a pretty common thing. It's like you want the good health, but you want these other things too. So maybe the question, or maybe the thought process is, maybe you don't have to give up all those things forever, just until you get healthy. And I know it's challenging because you are like the coordinator for this event and all that stuff. But I don't know. Do you want to tag in there?
I don't know where you're
Okay,
going.
where I'm going is this.
Then I can.
What's more important? It's like, what's more important? And that's why he asks these questions, because he wants to know, is it important? Because if it's not important, then you're always getting, you're going to always get pulled in the other direction.
Yeah, there's a paragraph here, Nancy, if I could read it.
Yeah.
On page 39, it says, we are motivated by those type of emotions and feelings, we are likely to look for quick fixes and find help from someone else rather than looking to ourselves. When we look outside of ourselves, we give away our power. I think those are good statements. We give away our choices, is what we do. And we have to make real changes in our life. We are going to tap into something much more powerful. The core element of all real change is what we're talking about tonight, your inside motivation. And there's always going to come something outside that's going to try to interrupt that. Outside or in your mind, it's going to try to interrupt that.
And I love, Lisa, that you have this, you've got the reunion next year. Because you know what I mean? Because it feels like, okay, I have this goal.
Yeah.
And so this is, I might be jumping ahead a chapter, but if your why is you want to feel healthy for this event next year and just to be healthier in general, okay? Then you want to start putting down, what does that look like? It looks like I weigh this much. It looks like I'm able to do this. It looks like I can wear maybe a certain size, whatever it is that would be those measuring sticks. Okay. And write those down.
That would be good.
So, yeah.
For all of us.
Yeah. So when you answer those questions. You know, the question, do you really care about being healthy? Do you want to improve your life? Which are really big questions, actually. And I have to say that that really kind of gives you the dividing line of how serious you are about this. This really tells you how much you value your health. Because I want you to know you all of you go through this, including us. Sometimes the food is more important than our health. Sometimes it is. Okay, you're not alone. We face it too. And what we've noticed is actually right now with the amino acids and the exercise, we don't have the cravings for anything anymore like we used to, which is really nice, and being off of sugar. But um, you know, it is a struggle.
Yeah.
It's real. It's real.
It's real.
So that's why your why has got to be your motivation to keep moving forward. It's got to be serious for you. So let's explore why you want to change and what is possible. So let's say we lay a foundation for amazing transformation only. Okay, all right. I'm sorry if this hits you upside the head. Okay, I'm just saying. We lay a foundation for transformation or change only. Okay, that's the key word, only if we're willing to do the work and stay the course. So I don't know about you, but so long and for many years, I did not I wanted the results. I didn't want to do the work and stay the course, but I wanted the results. It didn't work. So and it doesn't happen overnight, guys. It doesn't happen overnight. Some people, they just get committed, they run. Some people don't. But you have to do the work and you have to stay the course in order to reach that change. But when you do that, it is truly so rewarding to do that. So here's the thing. Optavia, you can use it for weight loss and use it only like that. Right. And some people do. I'm sure you've heard of people that went on Optavia and they're like so disappointed because they did the program, they lost weight, and then they put the weight back on. The reason that they did that is they really didn't do the work to change. That's really the bottom line. And that is really I mean, okay, I'm going to ask you, Karen, have your habits changed?
Yes, because my body tells me when I have eaten like something with too much flour or too much carbohydrate. It was amazing. And I didn't realize how much things like potatoes, you know, affected the joint pain that I had.
Yeah.
And since I was off of it, it kind of just, one day I just went, wow, I haven't had any joint pain. It was odd. And then I cheated, of course, not knowing that was going to happen. And I started feeling achy in my hands and in my feet and went, oh my goodness, it's the high carbohydrates and, you know, things like that.
Karen, it was potatoes?
Yeah. You know, and I didn't eat carrots, you know, all the things that Optavia encourage you during the 5-in-1 plan to stay away from. I did, you know, and just ate a lot of the greens and things like that. And I noticed in my own body, it made me feel when I had like a couple of French fries, that within an hour, I started feeling joint aches and pains. And I went, that's weird. And so I stopped any breads that I would have, and went back to the Optavia, and my joints didn't ache anymore. So I was really surprised at the inflammation that just eating potatoes did. I didn't put two and two together.
Nancy has a knuckle that when she eats sugar, right,
Oh, I know it.
it blows up.
It looks terrible, but it's my middle finger. It's like, God, I know it's terrible, but you can see it, the knuckles like much bigger than the other knuckles.
Uh-huh.
And so that little guy there is like a little barometer. And it's
Mhm.
like if I eat, like if I go out and we had ice cream or something, that finger would be yelling at me. I mean, it is just the weirdest thing.
Uh-huh.
So the interesting, and also I get fog brain when I eat carbs. I get fog brain. So, and it's not that we don't eat carbs, but it's like the right kind of carbs. You can get carbs in vegetables.
Right.
You don't really need it through any kind of processed breads or anything like that. But yeah, my finger is my little barometer. I did. So you would know, but yeah. So basically on page 41, first of all, I think all you guys have a book, right? Life book. Do you guys have this? Okay. So, all right, Karen, I want to recommend, and we used to do this, and I'm kind of a little bit like going back to it now because for $18 on Amazon, you can get this.
Okay.
Make sure it's the Life book that it looks like. Here, I'm going to show you what it looks like because
Can you just take a snapshot and text it to
Sure.
me?
yeah, that's
Okay.
the way it looks. But yeah,
We'll
we
do
can do that. We
And
can
then
do
I'll
that. But
order.
it's so good.
It's like having a diary, really.
Yeah, and what we recommend, and this is how Dr. Anderson says, is that just take element one. Like if you get the book soon, read the introduction. It's like 5 pages.
Mhm.
Do element one. It's like 6 pages.
Mhm.
And don't do anything else. It's not meant to be rushed through. It's really meant to be thought about. And like we said, every time we read it, we get something different out of it, depending where we're at. So do you want to read? It's page 41.
Yeah, it's this
Yeah.
part right here.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of medical. There's a few medical words in here. So I'm gonna say I would define optimal health. This is Dr. A, as a state of characterized by anatomic, psychological, physiological integrity and optimization, which supports optimal well-being. It's the ability, and here's
Here's the key.
it's the ability to perform at a high, effective, satisfying level.
Yeah, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So if we really want to feel good and operate effectively and satisfying in what we do, we got to be healthy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So he goes on to say, you will be able to fulfill valued family, work, faith, and community roles by developing the ability to deal with the physical, biological, psychological, and social stress while maintaining an internal equilibrium and external stability. So an inside out.
Inside out. Yeah, which that's one of the things, when we talk about managing emotions, which is partly managing stress, right? About living above the line, about staying open and curious, not closed and defensive. These are the things that help us to deal with the stress. So again, if you don't have the book, so we'll send that to you, Karen. Be able
Okay,
to pick it up.
thank you.
And Betty too. I think Betty, you may not have the book, but I'm going to recommend that you get that. But Lisa, you've got it, I believe.
I have it. Yeah.
Yeah, which is good. Yeah, because when we started, Lisa, you have it, Betty? Good. Okay, and then page 45.
So talk to review the why. Your why is your intrinsic motivation, your higher stimulus for change. It drives you into action because it's what you want to do. It inspires you to grow and get better. When awakened, you will want to share your desires with others and increase your engagement and create a whatever it takes mindset. A whatever it takes mindset. And that's a why. Whatever it takes mindset, it's powerful ally in your success.
Yeah,
Whatever it takes.
it's what's going to support you to get to where you want to go. It's got to come from inside. It's kind of like for you, Lisa, this is where I came from. Frankly, when I was losing my weight, I know this sounds so strange, but I always see myself as like this kind of even-tempered kind of person, right? Kind of just, I can kind of go, yeah, I have some ups and downs, but kind of go like this. Well, when I was losing my weight, I had to go into beast mode. I'm serious. What I mean by that is I got mad. Like I was like, no, I'm gonna do it.
Mhm,
I am gonna do it.
mhm. You know, it's
And
funny you should say that because when I started this, when I went to the doctor that first time, he said, "Oh, don't expect much because you're older in age, and it's
Wow.
going to, it's going to be very difficult for you." And I felt inside what you just said that I'm going to prove him wrong, that I can do this at this age, and he's wrong. And when I went back, like I said, a year and a half later, he went, "Oh, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it."
that is
I
awesome.
told him he was familiar with Optavia and he was just keep doing it. But that comment really challenged me.
You went into beast mode. Yep.
Yeah, I
You were
did.
gonna let him tell you that. But it's the same thing. It's kind of like you gotta want it in your gut. I think
Mhm.
that's the best way to put it. It's like what happened was when bad foods were brought into the house and tempted me, or I was out and this is what I had to do. I was like, no, I'm more important. I am more important than that.
That is a very good statement.
And I had to get to that point because honestly, I was the worst yo-yo dieter in the whole world. And my poor daughter was, I think, traumatized by it. So, she's still telling
I-
me.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure mine is too. So don't feel bad.
they should talk
And you
to
know
each
my
other.
daughter.
I don't. So my poor daughter, she can't even say the word diet because it just throws her into a tailspin. So anyway, so if nothing else, you walk away today saying, I need to be beast mode about what I'm doing. That is what will get you to where you want to go.
Whatever it
So
takes.
yeah, that's a good note to end on. What
Whatever
do you
it
think?
takes. Yep.
So
And the beast mode is from the Seattle Seahawks running back at one time. But
really?
yeah, he's beast mode. But he ate Skittles, but don't just ignore that. But
Yeah, don't do
he
that.
was, he was beast mode. He was they called him the beast mode, and he would just plow through people.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah, he just plow through.
So
Thanks for that reminder. It can be important, but what's the most important?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. And you are.
You are.
Yeah. And that's a powerful statement. You are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, so I guess next week we won't see you, Lisa.
Well, it's
Should we
also
include-
Labor Day.
Adios.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm still gonna do it.
Oh, we're still gonna
Yeah,
do it.
I'm still gonna do it on Labor Day. No, wait a minute. We have a thing Labor Day. All right. Well, we'll let you all know. And you have
If
a
I
great trip.
figure out the time conversion
Yep.
and date conversion, I'll try and be on, but I'm not sure.
Doing the
I
career.
might sign on and it might be like 3 o'clock in the morning your time,
Might be
but
crickets, Lisa. It might be crickets.
Yeah, it might be crickets. If there's no one on, then we're the wrong time. All right, everybody. We'll let you know what we're gonna do next week. And you guys have a great week. Have a great flight, Lisa, and we'll see you all soon.
Good job,
Thank you.
guys.
Right.
Congratulations.
Bye.